Okay, for part one of session 2, we're going to move into what are called controlled articular rotations. So I'm going to get Anne to stand nice and tall for us, create a little bit of stability through the body, and just start by taking her chin down and rolling her head around through its full range of movement, all the way around to the front, and then back the other way. So we use these controlled articular rotations to improve range of movement, and it does that through providing sort of blood flow and nutrients to the joint. So quite often with some of our joints, the cartilage through there is avascular, meaning it doesn't get a good blood supply. So if we don't sort of flush the joint with the sort of fluid and the blood in there, sometimes it can go a long period of time without getting any sort of proteins and whatever it needs from the blood supply. So this is one way of helping those joints out. So from there, she'll work into the shoulder blade or scapulothoracic joint. So I'm just going to get you to take your right arm out to the side a little bit, create a fist, then with a nice straight arm, internally rotate your arm, shrug the shoulder, and externally rotate. So this is sort of addressing the scapulothoracic joint or the articulation between the shoulder blade and the thorax. Although it's not actually a joint, that's still an area of the body that we use quite a lot in all our day-to-day lives, but also particularly our training, and one that can also benefit greatly from doing some of these controlled articular rotations. So just getting used to moving in and out. Let's change up. Nice one. Up and in, up and out. It's a really good habit to get into as well, getting used to externally rotating the shoulder. We do a lot of work on getting those shoulder blades back and around. So if you spend a lot of time in this internally rotated position, these can get nice and tight, these can get a bit tense. So it's good to practice rotating out and in, again, that motor control working as well. Okay, now working through the full glenohumeral joint or the shoulder, I want you to maintain a little bit of stability in that midsection and then take your arm straight up overhead. When you get to the top, reach up as high as you can, then back as far as you can behind you, and then come back up the other way. Now, if you've got any pre-existing shoulder injuries or conditions or issues, even just taking your arm through whatever range is available to you is of benefit, rather than just sort of not doing it all together. Just work with what you can and with what you've got. A couple more on this side. Let's just go one more. All the way back and all the way over. Very good. And then changing sides. Nice work. Back and around, maintaining a little bit of stability, just focusing solely on that joint and making sure that it's a controlled articular rotation. So it needs to be nice and stable rather than just swinging around. There are other exercises where we do some swinging work, but not for these ones. We want to focus on a little bit of tension through those muscles and ligaments and joints, and a little bit more stability than some other exercises. Okay, great. Now that you've gone through the shoulder blades and the shoulders and the neck, we're going to move into the same sort of thing for the hips. When we do this, however, you're going to be required to stand on one leg for a little bit of time. So if your balance isn't great, you can get something for a bit of support. Okay, once you're ready, standing up nice and tall, trying to stay with that alignment with the rib cage stacked over the pelvis, and let's go. Lift your outside leg as high as you can, take it out to the side, rotating back, and then from there you push back, out to the side again, and down. Almost like you're sort of stepping up and over a hurdle. As you do this, however, I want you to make sure that you try and keep your torso and the rest of your body as still as possible, because otherwise we can sort of compensate by just moving the body around, but without actually really isolating that hip joint. So just work through as much as you can. Let's just do one more on that side. Around and back. What this exercise is also really great for is starting to get some activation through your hip external rotators, abductors, so the glutes. Then we get some motor control through those muscle fibers around the hip that we're going to be focusing a lot throughout all the sessions. Good, up and down. Nice work. Very good. Let's just go a couple more of those. And you might find that as the program goes on, this is something you can do on a daily basis. You can get out of bed, or before you go to bed, do this. You can do it anywhere, you don't need any equipment. Really great for increasing that mobility, flexibility and motor control. Okay, finishing off, we're going to work through the feet. So, Standing up, if you still need to hold on, that's fine. If not, 1 foot out in front, and let's roll the ankle around and back around the other way. Around, sort of like you're drawing big circles with your toes. As you do some of these, particularly when you do the one up around the neck and maybe the shoulders, you may hear some grinding and crunching going on. You know, little bits of cartilage or bone or whatever it may be sometimes are floating around in the joint. The crunching and crackling is called Crepitus, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that if it's not painful. If you find when you're doing it you're hitting areas of sharp pain, then restrict your movement and you know, maybe modify a little bit if you need to. Changing sides. Nice work, and around. You might find when you're doing the right foot, left foot, the 1 foot, you know, the motor control is a lot better, particularly for me. My right foot, it's great. Left foot, I really have to concentrate on getting that movement right, but that'll improve as well as we use it more often. Okay, nice work.